done seen enough.
They're running late for this Jermell Charlo media workout. They decided to have it virtually in private, no media allowed, because of they don't want Jermell Charlo to get COVID. That was just announced. I think it was last night. The email came out, or this morning. I don't remember. So what's going on? How have you guys been? We're waiting for Jermell Charlo to have his media day workout today. Let me see where it's at. I believe it's in Houston. Not sure. It's supposed to start at 5:30. It's 5:39. Normally these things don't start on time. Me personally, I can't stand when fighters are late. I hate that shit. To like their media engagements, Tank is known for that. Like he'll show up an hour, 2 hours late. It's like, bro, you be killing us. So it says, due to the rise in COVID-19 cases and out of abundance of caution, today's Jermell Charlo media workout will be held virtually. Media will not be permitted into the gym. We apologize for the inconvenience. The workout will stream live on Showtime. This is the link right here. Here, I'll put it in the chat in case you want to watch it here. 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be co-hosted by longtime WWE superstar and radio personality Booker T. What's Booker T doing here? And PBC announcer Ray Flores. So it's going to be Booker T and Ray Flores hosting the event. Oh, there you go. Boom. Once they start this, that means it's about to start. All right, there you go. All right. So anyway, Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Where's that coming from? Yeah, got some nice headphones. Kind of fucked me up right there. Kind of fucked me up. That's the tunes for the background media workout. But anyway, yeah, man. So I got this feeling in my gut. I got this feeling that Jermell Charlo might be able to do it. However, he's got to move. He don't want to sit there in front of Canelo, but I've never considered Canelo a 168-pounder. I never considered him a full 168-pounder. So when I heard this fight, Charlo was willing to go all the way up to 168, and he even talked about it in All Access. He was like, like how he didn't really, basically paraphrasing, how he didn't really consider Canelo that big. And he was like, yeah, why not go a little further? In fact, I'm going to try to pull that clip up for you. But I don't look at the weight being an issue, at all. I don't see the weight being an issue. It's going to be about, can Charlo take the hardest punches of a puncher he's ever faced in his career? It'll be Canelo. I mean, we've seen him get cracked by Castagna. We've seen him get cracked by John Jackson. He took some tough shots from Tony Harrison, but nothing for me to say that he was cracked. And also, Derrick James needs this win. Big morale boost for the camp. Errol Spence got beat to shit. Anthony Joshua, I like what they're trying to do with Anthony Joshua at this stage of his career being a boxer. But basically, he caught a lot of flack. Frank Martin just skipped out on the Shakur Stevenson fight. Ryan Garcia is going to be a lot of controversy. Not a controversy, but eyes on him depending on how he looks. Remember, he's in Derrick James' camp right now. He may be fighting O'Hara Davies at the end of the year. Joshua's got to return at the end of the year. Errol Spence has got to return next. So basically, as soon as this fight is over, Canelo and Charlo, rest assured, Showtime is going to really start building up. I'm guessing Benavidez and Andrade's going to be their next pay-per-view. Then Crawford Spence, 2. Then likely Tank Davis, whoever he's going to fight. And then you got Erislandy Lara versus Danny Garcia at a catchweight of 155 sprinkled in there somewhere. But I think Charlo got a chance. I don't want to get copyrighted for this ad. Let me get that out of here. I think Charlo has a chance. You know. I think he has a chance. Hold on, what was I doing? But anyway, we got some fights coming up this week. Last week was a dread, even though I did watch UFC and watch Izzy Adesanya get outboxed and have to deal with UFC fans, degenerate UFC fans, comparing Sean Strickland to Floyd Mayweather and Teddy Atlas. Oh my God, Teddy Atlas is just the worst. Like, he completely, it's like, it's okay. I've been bitter towards boxing too. I've been bitter towards boxing. Really bitter. But for you just to go over to UFC and just start sucking their cocks like that, it's just like, you know, I'm talking about, not Eddie, I was going to say Eddie Hearn. Teddy Atlas goes out of his way to shit on boxing, like when it comes to UFC and mixed martial arts. Now, don't get me wrong, UFC, mixed martial arts, I love it. It's a cleaner feeling than covering boxing. It's hard to explain. I wish I had the love that I have for boxing. And I'm talking about, I got a toxic love for boxing. It's toxic. Like, I wish I had the love for the UFC and mixed martial arts that I have for boxing, because it's so much easier to cover boxing. UFC. It's cleaner. You don't get as many copyright issues. I did at one point in time. Back in 2020, I had a major issue with UFC. I'm talking about to the point where I was threatening a lawsuit. I was bluffing. But long story short, it's a better feeling. You know, even when you watch a UFC event, from the very prelims, the event is full or, close to capacity. It's just, I don't know, man. But boxing, it's my heart, you know? See what Ray Flores is talking about. What are you talking about, Ray Flores?
So many in thousands. And also want to thank the first responders who continuously look after all of us, along with those.
So this is live. Booker T supposed to be showing up. To co-host. Is this him? They calling him in? King Booker?
See, Booker, you know what it's like to be on big stages, on pay-per-view, worldwide television audiences. Now you get to see Jermell Charlo as he squares off against Canelo Álvarez in a few weeks' time. How excited are you, and how excited is the city of Houston for Jermell Charlo?
Man, the city is on fire right now. Not that it's just 100 degrees, but we are excited for September 30th and Jermell Charlo stepping into the ring for the biggest fight of his career. And I tell you, Vegas has been, on fire as well, putting on the big fights. PBC, we're coming off of Spence and Crawford. Tank Garcia. Has been so many big fights, but this one could be the one that tops them all.
What does it mean for Jermell Charlo? He's been on pay-per-view before, but this is the biggest headlining event for him in the history of his career. When you were in that position, that first big mega event, what does that mean to an athlete and to a prize fighter?
I remember this kid coming up to me one day at McGregor Park, and he said, "Booker, I want to be just like you one day." And I go, "Man, I'm a role model." And I look at Jermell Charlo as being that same kid, cut from that same cloth. Went to school right here in Houston. They leave Hastings, where he graduated from, and now he has a chance to go out there and give those young kids something to actually believe in. And I think today, that's what young people need, something to believe in. And Jermell is giving everybody in H-Town that something.
We saw him earlier. He is here, but, what did you take away? He seems to be in very good spirits. He's focused, but what did you take away from just the demeanor of Jermell Charlo?
No, just they always say you could tell by the look in a man's eyes, you know what I mean? You could tell by the way a man walk. And definitely Jermell Charlo has that look in his eye, and he has that walk of intensive and purpose. September 30th, it's gonna be fireworks.
No, they always say pressure burst pipes, and it is hot here in the gym, and they are ready to go. Right now, we are going to bring up the undisputed super welterweight champion of the world.
Yes.
He has been a professional since he was 17 years of age, getting ready for this mega opportunity as he tries to become a two-time undisputed champion of the world. This one at super middleweight. Jermell, this is something that you've always wanted. As you prepare for September 30th, how excited are you to step inside the ring with Canelo Álvarez?
It's exciting. It's super fun. Been doing this my whole life, so now it's time to, put on for my city, put up or shut up, and do what I got to do. You know, it's one of the best fighters in the world. You have to be excited for this moment.
Is this the most? I mean, I will tell you, it seems like this is the most focused we've ever seen you, the most dialed in we've ever seen you. You keep getting better and better, but are you glad you're getting this opportunity now? Because you guys were scheduled to potentially share the ring in 2014. Now you get it 9 years later.
Well, you know, when you got the right people operating the system and handling the business on the other end, it always makes it, you know, the right moment. So now it's the right moment. We both 33 years old. We at our prime, we at our best, we at our fastest, our strongest. Canelo's coming to, you know, bounce back from anything that the people are doubting him about, and I come to put on and shake the doubters off and prove to the world why I'm in this position. It's not just by coincidence that I got here and I made it this far, but now it's my turn. It's my chance to shine. I've been doing what we do for a long time, you know, representing the Charlo twins and the Lions Only and the whole team, you know, and PBC, and just been doing what I have to do for the world. So now it's time to, like, really, 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 you know, show what I'm made of, everything that I've done since I was 8 years old, when I turned pro in 07, to all of that, put it on the line now.
I'm just wondering, you know, after, you know, all the big fights, you know, Castaño, you had the draw, and then you came back and knocked him out in this fight. This is the biggest fight of your career. How focused and how Derrick James put you in a position to go out there and not let this fight go to the judges?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm really dialed in as far as, like, my team and the folks around me. It's not just Derrick James. You know, I got Juan Guzman, who's, you know, works a lot on lateral movement, feet, and speed and different things. I got Titus Adams, who's an ex-NFL player, and he worked on a lot about exits, and he was a defensive tackle, so he kind of have a different world. I got a doctor on hand at all times, and Kevin, Eric and Brent Gilmore. These are like my guys and my core teammates. So I'm just in the ring doing what I have to do, and listen to Derrick James as the head coach, and we let him be the head coach and assist everyone else.
I was just saying something a second ago. A kid came up to me in McGregor Park, and he said,
Yeah.
I want to be like you one day. And I said, man, I'm a role model. I've watched the growth in you over the last 5 years or so. And do you feel like you're a role model?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a role model. I have a amateur team, an amateur crew that, you know, I support. I go to their fights sometimes, and I know I got children myself, so and I've been boxing for a really long time. So I'm pretty much some fan favorites and some people's best friend, I guess.
Yeah, now we're
you know
behind
what I mean?
you. We're behind you 100%.
For sure.
Jermell, do you think that, you know, you walk around and you're a massive super welterweight? Do you think that when people are talking about this fight, saying, oh, he's going up 2 weight classes, I believe they're making too much of the size difference because you're just a naturally big guy. I'm astounded how you've been able to make 154 throughout the duration of your career. Do you think that people are sort of looking at that and saying, all right, well, if you really don't know boxing, then they want to point to that and say, well, the size will be too much of a difference?
Well, you see how hot it is in Houston right now.
No, believe me.
How hot it is in Houston, right?
Yeah.
I haven't even started working out yet, and I'm already pointing sweats. But I made 154 easy. I can still make 154. I can make whatever weight division I have the chance to fight in. So I don't think that we're gonna be too much focused on or worried about having to cut too much weight, or worried about even the fans or what the people that's critique boxing, the writers or reporters say about making weight. Making weight is what you have to do. Is something that we've been having to do for our whole career. I've been sparring bigger guys for a very long time. Now it's just all about, bringing that same skill set and the mindset that I have at 54, from speed to power to everything, and bringing it up with me at 168.
I tell you, today you seem like real calm, man. Yeah. You seem like you're in your own zone. And I'm just wondering, do you feel any pressure to go out and really perform at your highest level at this fight? For this fight?
I think absolutely. I feel like it's pressure. Of course, it's pressure on me. It's pressure on my team. I think that we have to, be dominant, win this fight, not just off of, knockouts or anything like I'm used to, just to win this for 12 rounds, beat him for 12 rounds, or do whatever I can in that ring that's gonna protect me and leave me vicious and leave me at the
that
at
gym
the
look
best.
hot
You know
as
what I
shit,
mean?
man.
But I'm calm because they're just there's no point of being a rascal.
It's a fighter's dream to be headlining on a major event that the world's watching.
Real quick, you see that poster in the back? I have a lot of these. I used to collect those when I used to go to PBC events. I used to have them all hanging up on my wall and everything. Remember back in the day?
You to see yourself in lights on the marquee, sold out crowd, T-Mobile Arena, worldwide audience, Las Vegas. Does it get any better than that as a prize fighter?
Nah, man, this is it. And it feels good. It's amazing. This is a dream come true. Just like winning Undisputed was a dream come true. Winning the world title, period. Making it out the slumps, making it out the mud, it's a dream come true. So once you get that far and you see so much and you see that yourself, you prospering and you making it through, bring it on. Keep bringing it. We can't stop God's blessings. So, stay locked in, stay dialed in, stay focused, be respectful, and just handle business, That's why, at the end of the day, I love my twin brother, because we both had this vision. We both had this dream. I love my twin brother. For the world that don't really understand, we beef here and there, but if it wasn't for the motivation and inspiration that he gave me when I was younger, of wanting to be this or wanting to do this, then he started boxing before me. So, I made it this far. I'm thankful.
Well, go ahead, Butch.
No, go ahead. No,
I'm going to let him, we're going to go and let him work out. We're going to talk with you afterwards. And, we don't want to cut into the work and stuff like that. What do you think? How would you compete against Booker T and stuff, Jermell?
I wouldn't even try.
All right, we're going to let Jermell Charlo work out. We got Booker T, the WWE Hall of Famer, the undisputed super welterweight champion of the world, looking to become a two-time undisputed champion of the world. This one at super middleweight will allow Jermell Charlo to work out here in Houston. Houston's finest, Jermell Charlo. We got Booker T.
I remember I was watching WCW Nitro during his last legs. I stopped watching wrestling consistently probably around, I went to college around 2004, so I probably stopped watching consistently around that time. Well, anyway, I remember Booker T, he came out one night, he was G.I. Bro. He came out with all this fatigue and all this shit on. It was only one day. But yeah, you can tell that gym is burning up. So anyway, let's talk about the fight. September the 30th from the T-Mobile Arena. It's going to be $85 on pay-per-view here in the States. It's going to be expensive. You have here's the card. Let's go. I gotta fix my chats. Hold on. We gotta do something here. I'm sorry. My setup. You see how the chat is right here? Watch this. See what I'm gonna show you. See this right here? It looks dumb. I gotta fix this. It's all gotta be the same size. I'll do that tomorrow. But anyway, it looks really stupid. But we'll do it this way for now. Jesus Ramos, Erickson, Lubin. Whew, I love that fight. Don't be surprised if that's going to be some type of final eliminator for a title at 154. Yordenis Ugas versus Mario Barrios for the WBC interim title at 147 pounds. How? I don't know. Elijah Garcia versus Jose Armando Reséndiz. Really, really good card. Especially, and I'm guessing the pay-per-view is likely going to start at 8 p.m. But these last three fights right here, once the card starts, especially the first one one's a really good fight as well. But once the card starts, it's off. Use the corniest line in boxing. It's going to be fireworks. I don't think Derrick James is going to get too much flack. Depending on if Jermell Charlo loses and how he loses. And I'm going to say it right here. It's this feeling in my gut. And I've been having some really good gut health these days. After my birthday, I did a 7-day detox. Here, I'll show you. This stuff right here is pretty good. This stuff is really good, man. Can you see it? So anyway, gut health is really important to me. So I've been feeling it in my gut, and I've been pretty grass-fed, green, organic over the last couple of weeks. water, no sodas, no juices. So I'm pretty sound of mind. I think Charlo can do it. I think he can do it. Now, it's a difference between think and can. One of the biggest mistakes I've made over the last 5 years regarding the boxing is not betting on Bivol to beat Canelo. I knew it from my bones. But then again, I used to be a degenerate drunk about 10 years ago, and I picked Robert Guerrero to beat Floyd Mayweather. So, you know, there you go. There's that too. But if I don't mess around and I really, really do my part and I pay attention and I really, you know, like think with my mind and my gut, I think he can do it. Now, to my defense, I thought Robert Guerrero was going to be the 135 Robert Guerrero, 130 Robert Guerrero, you know, boxing, jabbing. He used to have a mean jab. Then he just became some bullshit ass slugger. Like, what the hell happened to him? What happened to him? Let's see if they got any music playing. Hopefully not. Okay, got it silent in there. Good, that's what's up. Okay. But yeah, they didn't want any media in there because COVID restrictions. That's the last thing we need with that COVID shit going around again. I had that shit like twice. And I ain't getting no needles either. But anyway. So yeah, for 168 pounds, we have not heard anything about a rehydration clause. It better not be. Canelo tried to fight Badu Jack at like 180. That was some bullshit. But Canelo's getting long in the tooth. He's had a lot of injuries. Knee, shoulder, wrist. I think it was elbow too. Making a lot of money. You know, how long can he keep that motivation up? And he's fighting somebody in their prime with no handicaps. Yeah, he's moving up in weight. But do you really count that 168 pounds? I don't. I never considered Canelo a 168 pounder. He's a 160 pounder masquerading in the 168 pound division. And it's going to catch up to him.
You're watching the Jermell Charlo workout here in Houston, Texas, the undisputed super welterweight champion.
And remember, I identify as half black, half Irish, and half full-blooded Chicano, Hispanic, Mexican. So it's really tough for me to go against my brother, Canelo, and against my ethnicity. But at the end of the day, I think Charlo can do it.
Derek James. Derek, it is great to talk with you. I know you're watching your man prepare and get ready for this huge showdown against Canelo Álvarez, but what does this opportunity mean to Jermell Charlo, yourself, and the entire team as you guys get set to match up against Canelo Álvarez?
Well, I think it means everything because I think that it's something that has never been done in the men's division to have two undisputed championships at one time. I believe that Sugar Ray Robinson tried it before and failed. So I think that with him doing this and being able to do it and make history, it'll be amazing.
Now, Booker, I know that Jermell is embodied in what Houston is all about, but how much of an addition has Derek been, in your opinion, to Jermell? And it's been a winning formula ever since they got together.
You know, I think the formula don't start in the gym. I think the formula, if you could correct me if I'm wrong, as far as getting that young man to that point to where he's a grown man and he can go out there and handle his business. As far as being a role model, I've seen the growth of Jermell Charlo over these last few years, and I saw Jermell Charlo before as well, you know, and I see the difference. What has been, you know, your thought process in, you know, making Jermell Charlo get to that point?
I think that it's been so much about helping develop him as a fighter and at the same time as an individual, as a man, right? Because I think that if everything else outside the ring is bad, nothing in the ring will be good also. So I think you just got to keep pushing his skill set, helping develop his skill set, help develop his intellect about boxing so he understands everything I want him to do, and at the same time, help him become, a better man.
I got a saying, with my students, preparation is the only luck you're gonna have,
right.
and that's in the ring as well as in life. What's your,
Hey, listen. I tag along with that because you got to realize that you win a fight in the gym, right? You win a fight in the gym. There's nothing you can do in the fight that night that would help you. You're not pulling nothing out of your butt, the rabbit out of it. No, it's you actually doing it in the gym, preparing, and you're doing it right.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Now, Derek, for you, what weight would you like to see Jermell come in at? Because that seems to be the $1 million question, because people are saying, okay, Jermell's going up 2 weight classes for this assignment. He's a naturally big 154-pounder.
Right.
I believe his power will translate on September 30th, but for you, ideally, is there a number? Is it 64, 65? Does it not matter? Are people making too much of that?
I think that, I really don't follow what everybody's saying because I'm not on the internet like that, but you said those numbers, 64, 63, 65, somewhere in the area, but I think that you don't have, just because you're moving up 2 weight divisions doesn't mean you have to gain all that weight. I think that his advantage is his size, and I think that you have to maximize what you have, and you don't have to, we see smaller guys sparring bigger guys every day of the week. The smaller guys are not getting up to the heavier guy's size to be able to deal with them. It's just like, I have something that you don't have. And so I think that he doesn't have to become that guy to be that guy. And I think that hopefully that'll be what he understands and knows the night of fight so he's not so heavy.
Now, not giving away the game plan, but what intangibles does Jermell Charlo have that are going to help propel him over Canelo Álvarez on September 30th, Showtime pay-per-view, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time?
But not giving away the game plan.
No, I'm just saying, what intangibles? Like, what do you like?
If I put a finger on one of the things,
what is it, like demeanor?
Look at their shirts.
I'm not trying. You know how.
I know what you mean. You asked the right question, but that question gets, for me to answer that question is to give up anything. I'm tight, like,
You got a poker face on. I understand.
Yeah. But I tell you what, this night against Canelo Álvarez, it's the biggest fight of Charlo's career, by any means. Under those bright lights, how do you see this fight playing out?
I see it as Jermell going in there, and Canelo. It's going to be a back and forth. I think because Canelo has to impose his will, right? But at the same time, I believe that Jermell has to be able to show him that I'm here also, and I'm not going to let you be who you are. And because if you let the fighters be who they are, they'll walk over you every day of the week. So it's like you got to be able to stop him from being his great self, and that's what Jermell has to be able to do that.
Just answered your question for you.
Well, see, he said it in a different way. That's why he is the WWE Hall of Famer.
But see, remember this, I didn't say what he was going to do.
Yeah.
I said
Look, there's a reason why you're the trainer of the year. You got, rings on your finger, and I'm not there. With that being said, Derek, finally, how big would this be if Jermell Charlo were to become the second fighter in history to be undisputed champion? This one, though, at 168. That was a couple months ago. Terrence Crawford's the first one. I'm not trying to bring back history here.
I thought you were talking about at the same time.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. So Terrence was the one to do it first, and then Jermell would be the second one.
It's okay. It's a good thing. I don't have an issue with saying that. That's reality.
Yeah.
You deal with reality. It's over. It's in the past now. But yeah.
But what would this mean for Jermell and the entire team?
I think that it would be great. I think that at the same time, I see Jermell making history, and it would have to be considered one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of all time because think about it, most of the people don't even have him rated in their pound-for-pound ratings. So to be a super middleweight undisputed champ and a light middleweight undisputed champ at the same time, two amazing feats at the same time.
So would that do you think that Jermell should be number one if he beats Canelo? Or is that just for media members like me to discuss that?
I'm just talking about history in itself because there's not another fighter to ever do it. Ray Robinson was the only guy who tried it and failed. And not many people have been able to try it and fail and try it and be successful or try it even to become undisputed champ, period. So to be able to do it in 2 divisions, it's a big deal.
All right, Derek, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much for giving us your expert analysis. We look forward to seeing you during fight week, and we'll allow you to continue to train your guy, Jermell Charlo, the undisputed super welterweight champion of the world here in Houston.
I'm glad that Derek James corrected it about basically, like, it's okay to ask questions about, you know, Terrence Crawford beating up Errol Spence, you know? Like, it's in the past, it happened. You know, because I can understand, you know, Ray Flores has to be, you know, the company guy, you know, and also, you know, Derek James trains Errol Spence. By the way, what do y'all make of those rumors that him and Spence are not working with each other anymore? I thought it was a joke. I thought it was some Twitter bullshit. Did it start from Twitter and then people just kind of took it seriously? We don't know what's going on with that. I don't believe it personally. But also, Errol Spence is the type of guy that even if he hasn't been on social media as much since he lost to Terrence Crawford, he's the type of guy that'll come out on his social media and say, hey, you know, ain't nothing happening with me and my trainer. We tight, you know, but we haven't got any of that. But also the question is as well, could Derek James be spread too thin? You know, remember, he's had a string of big fights. You know, he had Frank Martin, who didn't look good in his last fight. Frank Martin was supposed to fight Shakur Stevenson November the 16th. That was on a Thursday. But Frank Martin, as of a couple of days ago, pulled out. Anthony Joshua was supposed to fight Dylan White. But basically, he's preparing. What I'm saying is, before I go on, he's preparing his fighters for big fights. So you have Frank Martin, Anthony Joshua. Errol Spence got beat up. Charlo's facing Canelo. Ryan Garcia is going to be returning, Derek James fighter, against O'Hara Davies likely in December. Then you got Joshua, who's got to return in December. That's what Eddie Hearn wants. And then you got that Crawford Spence rematch coming up. Like, dude's got a lot of work. You know, you have to wonder, you know, like the time management got to be key because you'll have some fighters, everybody can't be happy. You know, especially the way some people are looking at how Errol Spence got beat up. And you had 2 fighters, both Errol Spence and Frank Martin, talk about their timing. So who does that fall on? There was no secret. Errol Spence has talked about in the past. He's had he didn't do his best to always make weight or have the proper resources. But in this case, I'm not making excuses. He got beat up. And if I'm being honest, for years, I thought to myself, like, yo, he ain't going to be able to beat Terrence Crawford. Like, it's just too... Terrence Crawford, like, that's a really like special fighter. He's got everything. Let's hear these punches.
That he seems to be happy, as well as seems to be focused more so than anything.
If there was a movie character that I could say has come to life, Jermell Charlo gives me Clubber Lang vibes from Rocky III when he beat Rocky for the first time, the only time. But that's what I gather out of Jermell Charlo, the ferocity, the intensity. I mean, just look at what he's doing right now just to that pad.
You know what, I got to disagree with you on that. He reminds me of the Michael B. Jordan character, a kid that's willing to go out there and go through all of the trenches and do whatever he has to do to get that W. And look at him right now, the way he's throwing those shots. They look crisp, they look precise, they look
damn wide left. That's Booker T.
And on the 30th time, I can only imagine what it's going to feel like being in the ring with this young man.
Well, you know this, being an elite level athlete and going all over the world in what you've done and headlining massive events. What you want is an opportunity. Jermell Charlo is already a made man, super welterweight champion of the world, undisputed. Now he's looking to do it twice, 2 weight classes above. What does that signify for him as he inches closer to that date, September 30th, against Canelo?
You know, you think about the fights and previous, the Tony Harrisons, the Lubins, the Castaños, all those fights were big fights. But this one right here under the bright lights, it doesn't get any bigger than this. This is a history-making moment for Charlo. And the thing is, those moments, you only get them one time, perhaps, and you never get them again. So this is the biggest night of this young man's career. He has to cash in.
When you're in an arena, now we know T-Mobile Arena is going to be sold out. Limited tickets are available at AXS.com, presented by Premier Boxing Champions, promoted by TGB Promotions and Canelo Promotions. But when you're making that walk from the locker room to the ring, now my first question to you, do you hear the roar of the crowd as you're getting ready to make your entrance?
You know, I remember my first WrestleMania. And I remember being in the gorilla position, that's the go position. And I got ready to walk out the curtain, and I remember the Undertaker, he looked at me and he go, "Hey, Book, make sure you stop and take it all in." And if he wouldn't have told me that, I wouldn't have done that. I probably would have had tunnel vision and walked right to the ring. But I stepped out on that stage, and I looked around, and it was more than 70,000 people, and I was like, oh, man. And all of those fans, their energy radiated through me. And that's the only thing I think about with Charlo. It's going to be, you know, sweaty palms. It's going to be butterflies, but that's when you got to get those butterflies to line up and fly straight.
So how do you handle that? How do you harness that?
Well, I think, you know, the nervousness actually worked for you at that time. I think if you're not nervous going into a fight like this, you're not human. So I think having that work for you, I think is going to be his greatest attribute on the 30th.
Well, hell yeah, I watched the Three Amigos.
What I know about him is that he always comes in tip-top physical shape. In just you can tell that he has a game plan, but also with Jermell, he has plan A. I don't know, but I believe he has like plan A, plan 1A, plan 1B. There are different ways that he can attack you.
Of course, but that's where I think Derek James is going to come into play in a huge way, just because you go back to the Tony Harrison loss, and you go back to the Costanzo draw. You know, he came in with a certain mentality in both of those fights. He seemed a little lackadaisical, maybe not, you know, ready for that night. That cannot happen in this fight. He has to be totally prepared. Preparation is the only luck he's ever going to have in a fight like this, and Derek James has to be that X factor as far as getting him to that point.
What I like about Jermell Charlo, among a litany of things, his punching power, how he's so judicious, and he has terrific technique. He is the epitome to me of a boxer puncher, but he's faced adversity in his career. I go back to those.
You know who I couldn't stand? Brendan Shaw. I'm like, why do I keep seeing this guy? Get him off of here. Also, Steven Jackson pisses me off too. So Booker T, it's like, I'm giving him a chance. This is the first time Booker T's ever been on a Showtime boxing broadcast as a co-commentator. So let's see how this works out. He was on Fox, PBC on Fox.
Having that adversity, having to be able to overcome, being in those positions, knowing what it's like being in those positions, not coming into that fight at a lull. And like I say, this fight is against Canelo Álvarez, the guy that's, 59-2. He's only, lost to two of the best fighters in the world, Floyd Mayweather being one of them when he was a kid. Yeah. He's a grown man now, so of course Canelo Álvarez is going to have a game plan as well. So both of these guys, I cannot wait to see the chess match. It's going to be a chess match as far as who walk out. But you talk about those two fights. You talk about how Charlo came into those fight twos with a total different purpose as far as being patient, but being a guy that was seek and destroy at the same time. Let me land this big shot and let me get up out of here and hit the club in H-Town. That's what it was all about.
Well, speaking of H-Town, can you imagine if Jermell Charlo defeats Canelo?
I don't like hearing that when they say, you know, when Canelo fought Floyd, he was just a kid. I'm not trying to hear that shit. The Italians also, you know, they would take disrespect to that. You know, they got fucking 60 and 70-year-old kids. They'd be like, yeah, Bluey Butternose died last week. Jesus, how old was he? 67. Jesus, he was just a kid, my own. Motherfucker be like 38. They'd be like, he was just a kid. Canelo wasn't no fucking kid.
Full stadium, you know, if he were to pull off this win against Canelo Álvarez.
And of course, we can do NRG, we can do Minute Maid, all the big. It's going to have to be a huge arena because, trust me, when the Charlos...
What did he die from? He got the cancer. How old was he? 64. It's a shame when they go young like that.
It's going to be huge, and I'm going to tell you, I'm predicting it. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be a knockout. It's going to be unanimous decision, 12 rounds. My man. Now,
You're-
you know, wait a minute. It's gonna be a knockout.
You're saying it's going to be a knockout. You're saying Jermell Charlo knocks out Canelo Álvarez.
It's gonna be a huge knockout. 11th round, Charlo over Canelo. Big.
11th round knockout. Jermell
It's gonna be late.
Charlo
It's gonna be
over
late. It's
Canelo
gonna be
Look
late.
at Booker T's shirt.
Late in the fight. Well, we're gonna allow
I thought those were spots on Ray
Jermell
Flores,
Charlo workout,
but
and
that's
he's
like
smiling 'cause that
sweat
might be like a
pores.
prediction book. But he's certainly putting in that work. Is Jermell Charlo, the undisputed super welterweight champion of the world, undisputed versus undisputed, September 30th,
yes.
Showtime pay-per-view, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas will be rocking. Make sure to order it right now. You do not want to be left out in the
Do
cold.
it.
Do it right now, and do it not because I said so, because Booker T.
Y'all paying $84.99 for Canelo? Y'all paying that? Let's go look at some ticket prices. Let's go look at some ticket prices. Let's go see here what we got going on. How much are these joints? Anybody got some Canelo Charlo tickets? Let's see. Let's get some tickets. Get out of here, cookies. All right, so the most expensive ticket left is $7,000. Oh, that ain't nothing. You guys got it. $405 to get into the building. Let's see what we got going on here. See what we got going on. How much is this ticket? I want this one. That one's $755. Who's buying that? Somebody getting this joint? Let's see what the ringside tickets look like. Let me see. 2,500. How much is this one? Is that handicap? 7,000. Lord. 7,000? You paying 7,000 to be ringside for Canelo? It's double undisputed. Well, when Jermell Charlo steps into the ring against Canelo, he loses his WBO title. Tim Tszyu versus Brian Mendoza are supposed to be fighting for the WBO interim title on October the 15th. But it'll likely, I'm pretty sure it'll be the full title by the time they step into the ring. The WBO gave Charlo until September the 30th to fight Tim Tszyu. But he chose to fight Canelo, and I don't blame him. Big J's calling it a duck. He says it's a duck because he didn't fight as mandatory. I don't agree with that, obviously. But how do I think this fight's going to do? Is it going to be a success? It's going to be a success. It's going to do. Let me see if I can fix this because this looks stupid. Hold on. Is it going to be a success? I don't know, cuz. I don't know. What y'all think? I think that this fight can do 500,000 pay-per-view buys. That's my number. 500, like 522, something like that. And you know Rick Glosser's going to say it really did 274, an absolute failure. That's what he's going to say. You know, let's not forget that Charlos haven't been the biggest movers of pay-per-view buys. That doubleheader was a disaster. And also, the Charlos don't move like big-time TV numbers on Showtime. They did some solid numbers on Fox. I was at those events. I've been to 3 Charlo fights, maybe 4. I don't remember. Like actual cards. I don't see no 600,000 pay-per-view buys. Y'all see 600? I can't see 6. I mean, we got a lot of Mexicans. That's for sure, you know? Look, we got Canelo, Jesus Ramos, Mario Barrios, Elijah Garcia. We got a lot of Mexicans. You know, us Chicanos been carrying the sport. We the ones that really buy the all the pay-per-views. We got to be on the card. So, you know, we got that. You know, we got Canelo. You know, of course, he's going to bring in his numbers. So it's a great card. $84.99 though. Ah, $84. $84. I see 500. I won't be surprised on the low end. On the low end of this, I see 450,000 pay-per-view buys on the low end. On the high end, 700. I'll go 725. I can't see this as an 800,000 pay-per-view buy fight. However, it said that the Canelo Plant fight did 800,000, but they had a lot of buzz going into it. And it was for Canelo to be undisputed. So it had that like history. Yes, this is double undisputed, but technically it's really not, because once Charlo steps into that ring, he loses that WBO title. The IBF is going to be next. Bakr Murtazaliev and Jack Kouquet is waiting for that. That's sources from L-Dub. The WBA is the WBA, so you know they're trash. So they ain't going to strip him. And the WBC been on some bullshit. If they ain't strip his brother, they ain't going to strip him. So he can hold on to his WBC and WBA definitely. The WBO's already gone. The IBF is on the way. He'll still be linear on ring, but I don't see him going back down to 154. And also, Terrence Crawford is saying that the fight don't really interest him anymore against Charlo because it's not for undisputed anymore. He wants to make history, which is why he's calling out Canelo at 168 pounds, and I think it's going to happen if Canelo beats Charlo. But what if Charlo beats Canelo? Well, of course, there'll probably be a rematch clause, but what if he beats Canelo? That'd be wild. The boxing world will be on fire. By the way, Tyson Fury's on my shit list. And looks like the Saudis don't have the money or getting strange with the change for Joshua Wilder. Every time Fast Eddie open his mouth and start trying to hype up one of those big fights, the shit never happens. By the way, Sky Nicholson this weekend is fighting for her first world title. It's a WBC interim title. I'll be covering that fight. But I think Charlo can do it. But how does he take a Canelo punch? Especially when Canelo punches him right in the stomach. Because it's going to happen. But remember, Canelo also fights in burst. So if Charlo was able to sit on something, give Canelo something to think about, you know,
with everything he's accomplished, but to be able to have this moment and to be able to defeat the great Canelo Álvarez,
Yes.
How dangerous does this make Jermell?
Come on, that's that Lions mentality. He's going to be dangerous, by any stretch of the imagination. He's going to go out there and he's going to be able to perform, but they're again performing at that level to where you got to be laser focused. You got to be able to block out all the noise, all that white noise got to go to the side, as well as there again you got a guy throwing punches at you, so you got to definitely keep your eyes on the prize. But as far as a guy that's, when I look at him, I'm watching him hit the bag. When I look at him, he seems like he's laser focused. He seems like he's, more calm that he's ever been. The pressure doesn't seem like it's affecting him or anything like that. And I think that right there in itself is a dangerous fighter.
I think that for Jermell Charlo, you could just tell that he is in such a good place mentally, and I think it's going to show in his performance on September 30th. He is one of those guys that rises to the occasion, and I certainly believe that he is more than up to the task when he takes on Canelo on September 30th.
You just said the word rise to the occasion. Every time Jermell Charlo's been knocked down, he's picked himself back up, and he's come back, and he's gone out and win, and not just win, he's going out and win in grand fashion. And on Saturday, September 30th.
Yeah, I want to know where that Saudi Arabian money went. That's what's going around, is that the Saudis don't have the money. They're like, nah, we don't want to spend the money right now. And from my understanding, the promotional company, Skills Challenge, is no longer a promotional company, but gearing more towards management of fighters. And don't get me started on Andy Ruiz. The money's not there no more. These guys are not moving numbers, man. These guys want $10 million and $20 million guaranteed. And it's like, from where? if you haven't noticed by now, boxing is going through its own great reset. Shit ain't been the same since COVID. That's why you're having more and more fighters stepping out and fighting other places. Or guess what? You got to be on the shelf. PBC arguably has one of the largest, if I'm going to say PBC has the largest stable of boxers, but only one network. Their stable wasn't built just for one network. All they have is Showtime right now. Top Rank ain't doing well. I'm hearing many rumors that like ESPN is like, hey, what are you guys doing? You know, like we ain't gonna keep putting on this shit. The Zone, well, they're on my shit list. I just paused my subscription last week. I might bring it back on Friday. Who knows? But I'm paying $27 a month for The Zone. And let me tell you something. I don't want to start talking shit, but The Zone is on my shit list too. All these streaming apps are outrageous. It's like you might as well have cable again, which I do have cable. I will never buy a pay-per-view from The Zone and put it behind a paywall. I always buy all of my pay-per-views, except for UFC. I buy them all through cable, right on my DVR.
Good. I got to say, it's all about checks and championships, baby. no, and that's what Jermell Charlo has gone throughout his career, not because of anything else other than he's just that good. Give him credit for that.
Did I tell you all the time I paid for Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin twice? That was a New Year's Day pay-per-view. I was pissed. It was the weekend. I have Verizon Fios, so it was the weekend, and I had like this fraud alert on my cable. So basically, you can't buy pay-per-views, no movies, no nothing. So I purchased through Fox, like FoxSports.com, and there's no rewind, there's no DVR. You can't go back and watch it again. So then, by the time the fraud alert was taken off my account, I went and said, "Okay, I'm gonna buy it through my cable." I go into the Fox Sports chat and the customer support like, hey, I ain't watching the pay-per-view. You know, can I get my money back? And I'm sure on your end, you can check and see I ain't watched that much of it. They was like, nah, all sales are final. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. I am still fuming. I did that too with the Charlo doubleheader. I paid for it on my cable and I paid for it on the Showtime site, thinking I was going to be able to watch it through the Showtime site, but nope, no DVR. So pissed. I'm still pissed to this day. And that was on New Year's Day. What a hell of a way to start the year. What a hell of a way to start the year. They made us on New Year's Day, after a pandemic, pay for Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin on pay-per-view. That hurt. That's when I knew that things would never be the same.
No matter what it is, I mean, obviously, you guys are athletes. We are not. But there's nothing like working with your brother, being a part of something with your brother. Jermell certainly feeds off of Jermell and vice versa.
Well, I mean, I started with my brother, of course, you know, the Harlem Heat. And I know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my brother.
You're talking about the Harlem Heat.
Just like Jermell may be thinking, I think that all the time. I always say I'm living my brother's dream, you know, being at the top, you know, spot here in professional wrestling, something I never thought about when I was a kid. My brother motivated me and pushed me towards this, and this is the outcome of it. But I watched those two brothers, Jermell and Jamal. They've not did it, you know, this journey, but they've done it together. Both of these guys are champions. Both of these guys represent Houston, and not just represent Houston, but in the utmost way, these two guys represent Houston. I give them a lot of credit. I'm proud of both of those guys.
Certainly Lions only. Great to see Jermell Charlo.
I'm ready to hit, man. I'm ready to hit. Yeah, I got a couple of moves. Yeah.
Well, Jermell, I know you're getting ready to, you know, you're finishing off your workout, but we will put you in the middle. Booker, you and I will stand over this way. But Jermell, I mean, you just seeing you work out, I truly do believe that you are in such a great place. How excited are you just to get to Las Vegas? When are you going to get to Vegas is my question to you.
The Harlem Hangover.
It's hot in Texas.
Remember that joint?
and it feel good in Texas. I don't got no distractions. A lot of people, they leave their crib and stuff because they got distractions, or they don't got the love that they, I don't know why they leave their crib. That's what they do it for. I don't understand, but I have everything here from recovery to everything. So I want to stay in Texas as long as I can. And, but, you know, I just finished a cool workout. It was quick. I worked out this morning as well, because I usually work out sometimes in the morning. So I worked out.
So you did a double workout, huh, today?
I have to do that for, you know, for the fans and the Showtime and the viewers. But I went easy right now, a little light. I couldn't show y'all everything. That's not, I can't give out my secrets while y'all over here recording me and stuff, you know?
If that's you going light, that's me going hard like times 10.
Well, I mean, you're not a boxer.
Lead athlete, of course.
Boxer. Leave it to me and the Canelos.
I mean, you're not even breathing hard right now. So obviously, you're in great shape. Have you been doing like any extra sparring? You know,
My man is dying. Look at his shirt.
Yeah, like I've been doing so much sparring. I've been doing so much training, strength training. I've been doing a lot of conditioning. I've been working on, you know, mental as well. So it's not just all about physical. I've been preparing myself, you know, the full 9 yards around this process. I've been possibly training for about 14 weeks, you know, so I've been going for a real long time. So, you know, like I said, you know, no fight gets made without negotiation. So this fight, of course, had to have some negotiations. We just kept it quiet and did what we did. It's released. It's out here to the public. Now we fighting the best fighter in the world. We from Texas. We from Houston. He from Mexico. Not too far. I know he's hot over there.
Did you think this fight was going to ever come to fruition?
Not necessarily, but when I seen that he was making a move to PBC, I said, okay, maybe me and my brother, one of us can get our hands on Canelo and make a legacy fight, generational wealth type of fight. And so that's definitely what they bring, you know, and I deserve it. You know, I conquered my weight division, and what else there is for me to do other than continue to fight challengers, and I got an awesome challenge. So right now with Canelo is a massive thing.
I was just talking to Ray, and I was telling Ray, he was talking about as far as the championship thing. I said, when you're the best, you know, checks and championships, that's just part of the game, right?
Right. Getting money is a part of why we do this as well. You know, nobody does. We prize fighters. We definitely in here for a reason. We're not, and you know, we one of the highest paid combat sporters in the world. So, and we put a lot of work in, a lot of dedication, a lot of determination, family sacrificing. It's things that we do in boxing that a lot of people on the outside world don't see. They only get to see the big major fights. They don't know the things that we go through as far as injuries, as far as, you know, recovering from those things, and just stand on it, man.
Jermell, have you thought about what your ring walk is going to mean to you? Because I asked Booker T, you know, when he was in his first WrestleMania, what that was like, and was he able to soak in the moment? You have, you know, these memorable ring walks, you know, with your ring attire and your music, and the fans get excited. But now it's happening in Las Vegas, sold out crowd, millions watching around the world on Showtime pay-per-view. Have you thought about what that's going to mean to you? And, you know, do you have a little bit of a preview of what we can expect with your ring walk a little bit for September 30th?
Oh, man, truthfully, I have like personal artists in my mind that I would like to ring walk me out. But I'm you know, like I'm so dialed in, man, that it's been hard to even, you know, connect on that. I mean, I'm excited about my attire, what I'm gonna wear. I have a one-of-one custom piece made from Paris. Balenciaga made it. We're talking like a six-figure type of outfit. And so I'm very excited about that, and that's pretty cool. You know, other than that, I haven't really got to what I'm a ring walk. I know I got my boy Toby from A-Leaf, and why not put on a stage like that? Keep the Texas thing going. You know, I know Canelo gonna have his big mariachi band, and that's cool. I mean, but you know, if I stumble upon a larger global artist that wants to wipe me out, maybe Chris Brown. That's one of my good friends. You know, we could come out with some heat. He made me a song before, so it's, I mean, I don't know yet, man. I haven't really put my mind to it. It's getting closer, so I know I need to lock that in. But I'm not in competition with the Terrence Crawford ring walk. I know that's what everybody's trying to get the answer to. That motherfucker came out with Eminem. That was some bad shit. Like, I ain't gonna front. That's some cool shit and it's gonna be hard to beat that. He win. That's not my world. We don't get paid for that anyways. But I almost had like Lil Wayne or something. I had some people I've been in contact with. So we shall see.
Yeah, now that ring walk, for me, I always say, you know, I was always nervous. I was always, you know, sweaty palms, you know, butterflies flying around. But I always let that nervous energy work for me. Every time, I could never make a mistake because I had that nervous energy working for me. Your ring walk, like you say, only a few get a chance to do what you do. You're like a gladiator.
I'm nervous. I'll be nervous every fight. You know, I've been nervous since I was younger. No lie. this is my life I'm putting on the line. I want to get back and get out of there safe. Every fight I'm nervous. I'm not one of those I'm not shy, because if I was shy, I wouldn't be able to get in the ring, but of course, you want to make sure you do good, you want to perform right, you want to look good while you fighting, you want to put it all on the line and make adjustments through adversity. And that's the hardest part about, the boxing is you don't never know. You never know what to expect out of this sport or what's going to happen. And some of the greatest fighters have lost, some of the greatest fighters have won, and the greatest fighters have won. So I'm amongst the Hall of Fames already. I'm in the top. I'm just daring to be great. I'm going to be great, and that's it.
You're already great.
Yes, sir.
On September 30th, if Jimmy Lennon were to say at the end of the fight, and the new undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, and he says your name, what would that mean to you? What would that mean to your family? What would that mean to Houston?
It should show first me that, never stop believing. God is real. It's already written for me, so whatever happens is already written. So that alone allows me to, feel comfortable and happy no matter what the outcome is. Let my family and the believers that do rock with the Lions only know that, there's a change is coming, and there's always out with the old, in with the new. And I'm an old head, and so if I accomplish this massive goal, it'll be hard to beat. And I'll be in the record book for a very, very long time, amongst the greatest in the world of boxing, and that's super exciting for me.
I know you got to go, but I really want to know from you in terms of you are not just happy to be at this stage. You belong here, and you've proven it time and time again. But how much focused are you to be able to not only go out and compete against Canelo, but to beat him and say, all right, this is now the Jermell Charlo era officially, but in a new weight class?
I just got to stay hungry, and I've been hungry, and just to be in there, like a lot of people hyping up you fighting Canelo, that's understood. I would have fought him years ago. It probably wouldn't have been at such a large magnitude because I'm undisputed. So I'm like I said, it's already written. I worked my ass off in my division. He worked his ass off in his division. He made the right decisions, business moves, and it's only here now. You know what I'm saying? And so I can't too much stay focused on that I'm in the ring with Canelo. I'm hungry. I want to win. I want to win this fight for my city. I want to win this for my town, my children. I want to win. I just want to keep working hard, and everything that I put on the line and all this hard training that I did, I just want to get it out of it. I want to see what it's worth. I want to test myself.
Bookie, you got one more for Jermell?
Yeah, that's pretty much said it all. I mean, I'm looking forward to the 30th. Looking forward to watching you go out there and make history in grand fashion, and
be there. They can't be there. Tune in.
Booyah.
Cop it on pay-per-view.
Showtime pay-per-view.
Showtime pay-per-view. Pay-per-view.com. Come to the T-Mobile Arena. Check in with the Lions. We're gonna be roaring. Let's go.
How much does that? Lions only.
Yeah.
How much are you gonna harness that as you prepare to step inside the ring against Canelo?
Hey, there's only a few Lions that can make it, and I'm at the end of that mountain. I'm ready to leap over and look and see what I got. Yeah, that's my land. That's my pasture.
I'm
looking at what's mine.
On behalf of the WWE Hall of Famer Booker T, the undisputed super welterweight champion of the world, Jermell Charlo, Houston's finest. Also, your brother.
Sweat in. His shirt, James. Hey, I big respect to you, Booker. Big respect to you, Flores. I know y'all took your time out. Shout out to everybody that is tuning in right now. Hey, it's time. It's time.
You heard it here from the champ. It's time. Jermell Charlo, Canelo Álvarez, September 30th. Showtime pay-per-view, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah, I would have been miserable in that joint, I had one of those bad days in Gleason's gym in the summertime. I forgot what fight it was. I think it was Khan Algieri media day. Whew. But anyway, how you guys doing? I am picking Charlo, not confidently, but I just don't think that the weight means anything. And Canelo's losing a step. He's getting up there, He's had some injuries. I feel that Charlo will be the hungrier fighter going into the ring. But as we get closer to the fight, I'm going to give more detail on why. Great undercard, Jesus Ramos taking on Erickson Lubin. Yordenis Ugas taking on Mario Barrios. Elijah Garcia taking on Jose Reséndiz. It's a great card, $84.99 on Showtime pay-per-view or pay-per-view.com. I buy all of my pay-per-views through my cable, as I explained earlier. it would have been really great if we would have been able to see Charlo versus Tim Tszyu in January when it was supposed to happen. When was it supposed to happen? January or so? And then he would have won on and fight Canelo. You know, because now that Tim Tszyu fight ain't never going to happen. I would have really loved for him to get that under his belt, you know, before he went into this Canelo fight. But this Canelo fight wasn't the plan. It was supposed to be Jermell Charlo taking on Canelo. But Jermell Charlo is, I watched the interview of him the other day, about a few days ago, and he really looks, you know, like whatever he's been going through or whatever he went through, he looks like he's in no mental space to be fighting nobody. Like, for real, for real, for real. So, especially with his layoff, 800 plus days, you know, if I'm being honest, from the way I've been seeing him, you know, in the interview, getting smacked up by Caleb Plant, it's making me think like, yo, like, I don't even think like he might even not even want to fight anymore. He probably trying to push himself to make money, but does he really, really want to fight? You know, he was having some marital issues, custody issues, issues with his home. You know, so, and then there was the rumors that he was broke. He had that incident where something happened with a card. He just was going through a lot. But when I was watching that interview, I was thinking like, damn, like that brother's going through something. So, you know, prayers to him outside of the ring. And hopefully, you know, he can get back to doing what he loves, if he does love the sport. You know, and surprisingly, I never had no issues with Jermell Charlo. It was always Jermell. He couldn't stand me. But as I said, we got to a point where there was a nice little, you know, the last time I interviewed him, it was around the time he had that WBC Interim Championship. I don't remember. It was before the Montiel fight. And I was like, you know, it was like, anything cool? You know? Because remember, he verbally assaulted me and embarrassed me in front of everybody in the post-fight press conference for the Maverick Corbo fight. He was like, who are you? And I was like, T Street Controversial. He's like, I never heard of you. And I was like, ooh, shit. And everybody was like, ooh. Everybody was like, oh. But anyway. So yeah, the first episode of All Access was pretty good. But one thing about All Access is you already know the first episode. It's an introductory episode, things that us hardcore fans already know, but they got to introduce the fighters to new casual fans. So the first 15, 20 minutes of a 29-minute episode is really just pretty much things that we already know. Episode 2 is when it usually picks up. Before they used to do 4 episodes of All Access. It would be 3 before the fight, and then 1 after the fight, the epilogue. And then during fight week, they would do, I forgot what they call it, but All Access segments on the Showtime page. So now you can tell the budget's a bit smaller for those things. And also, how come Showtime doesn't have a consistent, like, sit-down face-off? We need those consistent I think every promotional company should have them for their biggest fights. Could you imagine a sit-down between Terrence Crawford, a face-off, like HBO face-off style, between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford? We didn't get that. We were robbed from that. PBC on Fox, they always did them. Well, up until 2020, with Brian Campbell. Magnificent work. One of the best ones you'll ever see was Jermell Charlo, Tony Harrison. Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao was pretty good too, actually. You know, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. Let me get up out of here. I'll see you guys later on with some more content, likely tomorrow, getting back on the saddle. Mondays are usually my days off, but it was like, you know what? I get this content out. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at T Street Controversy.